Hi guys, I would never just dip on vacation and leave you guys without a video. Plus, this is a great catalyst for me to go over multiple things that have happened recently, so I decided to discuss this post from Korean attorney Kho Sang-rok. He reflected on his role within the NewJeans saga and the ways in which he became a direct party to the dispute after a falling out with Team Bunnies. I'll read a little bit about what he had to say. Attorney Kho is a fan of NewJeans, he's always said that, and seeing an advertisement with them on it made him smile. This dispute was never really about the girls. This was always a corporate power struggle between HYBE and Min Hee-jin. However, NewJeans began to involve themselves in ways that just never seemed favourable to them, and attorney Kho is one of the people who spoke out about this. This made him a target for Team Bunnies, who allegedly threatened to file a report against him with the Korean Bar Association. He did not take this laying down and mobilized every resource at his disposal to resist their attempts to silence him. He even collaborated with fellow YouTuber Lee Jin-ho, who was definitely on the more negative side of this issue's spectrum. They addressed their differing viewpoints and united their audiences. This broadened the reach of attorney Kho's channel domestically. He then began dubbing his videos in foreign languages like English, which exploded the channel's growth internationally. He used his newfound notoriety to highlight the potentially negative impact NewJeans' contract termination could have socially and industrially. Korean and international media have cited attorney Kho numerous times, and he believes this helped create a more fair media environment around the case. When ADOR's injunction was fully granted and all 11 of NewJeans' termination reasons were rejected, outlets like CNN reached out to him for his reaction. He believes the court decision was just and feels pride in helping make that outcome possible. He also talked about the Kim Saerin case, but I won't go deep into that for the purpose of this video. Attorney Kho concluded by actually offering an apology to NewJeans and those who love them. He remains confident in his knowledge, experience and conviction, but he fears his feud with Team Bunnies affected his engagement with the dispute over time. He simply wanted to warn the public and those involved about problematic behaviors, but his criticisms may have been harshly worded at times. He sincerely apologizes if this led to any distress or offense. First of all, I really like this post and I think it's indicative of the current climate around this case. I've watched this situation play out from the beginning, and public opinion on NewJeans has changed like night and day. This is partly due to their choices, but also things outside of their control, like Team Bunnies and Min Hee-jin. This shift became more noticeable following the injunction ruling, and regardless of the legal implications, I believe this hiatus is a good idea. Actually, I thought HYBE wanting to give them an extended vacation last year was a good idea and would have been under better circumstances. Their bold actions and statements created fodder for media and online platforms, which helped in the beginning when public sentiment was mostly positive. Then, Min Hee-jin started to disappear from the narrative, and public sentiment toward the NewJeans members started to sour after their contract termination press conference. Even before the injunction, their activities were completely overshadowed by speculation about their legal status, which cast a dark shadow over basically everything they did.
Is this going to somehow damage your branding? I know that you came up with a new name, but NewJeans, it feels very different. Having watched all these illegal headlines.
One of our main reasons we wanted to come back and start promoting and releasing music as quickly as possible is because we want to reshift the focus back onto our job and what we should be kind of coming out into the media, so that was our main goal.
This left them totally exposed to the inevitable backlash that would follow the injunction ruling. This is something that attorney Kho, myself, and many others foresaw and expressed worry about. NewJeans can't exactly expect ADOR to protect them from these current consequences, and Min Hee-jin is seemingly unwilling or unable to do so herself. Due to the injunction, their attempts to explain themselves via interviews was just met with more backlash and questions about legality. Their parents run a PR account and would release statements on their behalf, but they too have now become subject to speculation and criticism. What I'm saying is there's nothing that NewJeans can really say or do at this point that won't be judged. So, why do I still think the hiatus is smart? Well, They only really have bad options in front of them right now, and I think this is the least bad of all. They are in desperate need of a legal and social reset. If I were their advisor, I'd tell them to remain out of sight and out of mind throughout the duration of this hiatus. Make people forget about their past issues with you and avoid creating new ones for them to criticize. Additionally, it gives people a chance to miss them. Attorney Kho, seeing that advertisement and being reminded of his affinity for the group, is likely a direct result of the current hiatus. He's been focused on covering other cases while NewJeans are somewhat dormant, and that dissolved a lot of the tension he probably felt regarding this situation. This is an example of what I mean when I say the hiatus can be a good thing for their public image if done right. However, it'll never really work if the girls don't actually commit to being on hiatus. Let me be clear, there's obviously nothing wrong with celebrating your birthday, taking pictures with fans, or even going to church. However, many of NewJeans' recent outings come off like appearances or activities, and this has led to speculation about their legality under the injunction. That basically defeats the purpose of this hiatus altogether, and it's why they should be more careful with how they move. I have to begrudgingly give Min Hee-jin some props, because she is putting on a masterclass of silence. She's not stuck in headlines the way she used to be. The few statements she has made came directly from her legal team, and people don't seem to care as much about issues related solely to her.
You're not that bitch or nothing, but you still ate that little one. That little one thing, ate that one thing.
What NewJeans needs is for people to forget about this case long enough to remember why they were so popular before all this started. Unfortunately, that doesn't seem to be what's happening currently. Instead, seeing them out and about in the wake of everything that's happened is causing people to stew. Ladies and gentlemen, stewing is the last thing you want people to do when combating a PR crisis on hiatus. Netizens are reigniting past scandals, and NewJeans can't divert that negative attention with music or some other activity like idols normally would in this scenario. I say all this to reiterate the take I've had from the start. They should settle with the company and move on, because dragging this out hurts them a lot more than it hurts HYBE. They say they just want to make music and perform and yada yada, so it's like, okay, you can do that with ADOR. Some fans have even started pushing the girls to return to ADOR because they can't see the point in pursuing this case anymore if they claim their goal is to make music again. I get they don't want to stay though, and it's like, okay, fine, just reach a settlement to leave ADOR, then go on and do that. Basically, none of this makes sense if you try correlating it with their interests. It only starts to make sense if you analyze it from Min Hee-jin's point of view, but that's a story for another day. Anyway, I've yapped long enough. Thank you all for watching as always. I'll see you when I return from vacation.